Hi, fellow crafters. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really happy you're here. Today, I wanted to share something I've been playing around with. This is going to go in my ABC Techniques journal. There's 4 of them, so I will show you those. I'm going to use alcohol inks on aluminum foil. I've had so much fun experimenting with this, and I thought it might be helpful to show you how it works, especially if you're looking to add something a little more textured or shiny to your journal pages. I'll show you a few examples at the end, but first, let's get started with the technique itself. So, for this technique, you'll need a few things. You're going to need some alcohol inks. Now, if you notice, I didn't just use the Ranger Tim Holtz. You can use any. I also have this other one that's called HTV something. I just got that off of Amazon. So, yeah, I do have the Ranger alcohol inks, and I also have this generic one. Then you're going to need, of course, some aluminum foil. I just got this from the grocery store. It says heavy duty on it. But yeah, it's Reynolds wrap, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I'm just going to use some plain. But I did see some tutorials where you can get aluminum foil tape. That I've seen where they have done that, and it works really well. But for today, I'm just going to use some plain aluminum foil from the grocery store. You're also going to need some kind of blending solution, alcohol blending solution, or you can also use some isopropyl alcohol. This is 90 proof right here in this little bottle. I don't think I'll be using that today. I really want to just stick with the alcohol blending solution. You're also going to need some paper towels to mop things up with. I also have the alcohol ink blending pen. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but I have it. You're going to need some microglaze. This is just the sealer that we're going to put on top. And then you might use one of these with a little foam pad, okay? We may or may not use this. I use this on some of mine, but we may not use it today. Okay, so yeah, so gather your supplies. Oh, and I also want some slightly thick cardstock, okay? You'll see in the example, sometimes I use cardstock as a backing and sometimes I didn't. So I'll show you the different things that I used. All right, so I'm going to set all this aside so we can get started. Okay, so first we're going to take a piece of aluminum foil. I've cut this down a little bit so it's more manageable. You also might want to put down some kind of craft mat, or I have a silicone mat underneath this paper, but the paper, it gets decorated very beautifully, so that's why I put this packaging paper down. And then you also might want to have some kind of plastic, either a glove or just a piece of packaging plastic. You might want something like that to protect your hands. I get my hands dirty all the time, so I'm used to it, so I don't care. But if you care about your hands, then grab one of these gloves or something like this, and you can stick your hand inside the packaging. Okay, so now it doesn't need to be perfect, your aluminum foil, okay? And there's also a shiny side and a non-shiny side. We're going to use the shiny side today. Okay, so actually, you know what? I'm going to use the non-shiny side. In all my other examples, I use the shiny side. So I'm going to use this more dull side right here. Okay, so this, if you want it really smooth, you need to smooth it out, okay? And be careful whenever you're cutting the piece off. Today I'm going to not have it smooth. I'm actually going to have a bit of wrinkles in this to add some texture, okay? But I'm going to just crumple mine. But if you want to use an embossing folder or your stencils, don't wrinkle it, okay? Use the embossing folder and then your stencils on as smooth a piece as you can. So you can put this through the embossing after you have wrapped it around your tag, run it through your embossing machine. So here we go. We're just going to give this a bit of a crumple. Okay, so it's totally up to you if you do it this way. Oh, look at all of that texture. You have to be careful too once you crumple it that it doesn't rip. And you might want to make your piece bigger than where you're planning on putting it so that you have extra room in case it does tear. Look at all that yummy texture. Okay. Now I'm going to let's see. I don't know if I want to do it this way, but let me show you. I have the two pieces. This is going to be the back piece. So right now I could wrap my foil around my tag completely so that I know exactly, so I don't have to do that later. I could do it right now, but I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to decorate this piece and then wrap it around. But if you were going to emboss it, then you would need to go ahead and wrap it around your tag first. Glue it down with some, I just used the art glitter glue, but you could also use Fabri-Tac or gel medium, whatever you want, to glue this and adhere it to your tag. Okay. And then wrap it around your tag and then run it through your embossing machine. I should have pulled all that out and showed you guys. I'm so sorry. You will see that in my examples though. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the alcohol ink. Now, I think I am going to start with some blue. Okay. Also with, sorry, I'm on the wrong side. Here we go. With the alcohol ink, you also have to, it's better to go darker than lighter. Lighter doesn't tend to show up so much on the aluminum foil. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and here's one that's kind of light. So we'll start with it so I can show you. All right. So we're just going to add a few drops. This actually isn't as light as I had thought, but it's still harder to read than the other. Okay, so we're going to move that around, and we're going to just add a little drop or two in a couple places on my thing, and then we're just going to move it around. Kind of, sort of. Okay, we probably ought to add a couple more drops of this color. Oh, I didn't show you the color. It's called Pool, Pool. Okay, so just adding a drop or two here because I really like this color. It's really pretty. And we're going to add just a little bit more blending solution. Like that. You're going to see it spread out right away. And the blending solution does make it thinner. It does thin it out, so you have to be careful of how much you're adding. Okay, so we're going to let this flow. And if it doesn't move enough, you can keep adding the blending solution. Okay, so it doesn't take too much, so you might want to be careful with that. So our first layer is down. Let's keep adding to that. I have two more blues here. I have Tranquil, which is alcohol pearl, which I think we're going to add last because it is pearl. So I'm going to set that one off to the side. And I'm going to add the denim to make this a little bit more darker colored. Yeah. And you'll be able to see the difference in how the aluminum foil actually reacts to it. And the blending solution should still be on the paper, so it is going to be spread out a little bit more. So there we go. Let's let that run. Sorry about my hands. Let's just add a bit more to that. I don't think I got any right here. And some of these zones, it's kind of already, there we go. There, now we can get that moving. Can you see it moving? Kind of blends into each other. The crinkles are keeping it from really spreading out too much. Still really pretty, but let's add some purple in here. We're going to add this one's called Purple Twilight. Oh, that's pretty. Let's get that blended, shall we? I am kind of concentrating more in the middle of the tag because I know that that's where it's going to wrap around I'm concentrating on the middle of the aluminum foil because I know that that's where it's going to wrap around my tag at. Okay, don't be afraid to experiment and just throw some stuff down on the paper. Let's get it moving. Okay, now this is where I think I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm going to use this felt pad, and I have a lot of blending solution, so I'm just going to kind of move it around a little bit on my paper so that I can get more of a blended colors in here. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, it's got a little darker than I had anticipated with that denim. I love that purple. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's add some more of this pool back in to the mix and get some of that. Oh, yes. Get some of that beautiful colors going. I love this color of pool. See how it's so fun to add different colors in here and experiment. And you don't want to get it muddy, though. You don't want it to where all of the colors are the exact same shade. Having these different shades is really cool. Okay, so now they're going to kind of create like a marbled look in here. But before they do, let's add a bit of black and see what we get. Ooh. Okay, I'm not going to be very generous with this. This is just going to be a little bit of a highlight because maybe right here. Yeah, it's runny. This ink is a little bit runnier than the Ranger. I notice. See how much it's running? Ooh, look at that. That is so pretty, guys. Kind of looks like a star, though, so I want to get rid of that star shape. And you see the star? I'm not liking that. I think I want to add a little bit more purple and a bit more cool. Oh, well, now it's time to add the pearl. Let's just add the pearl. I haven't added it yet. I know what it does, so let's just add it. It has a little ball in the pearl, so it mixes it all up at the bottom. So just going to shake it so I can see that the bottom is all mixed up in there, and then we're going to add a bit of this. See, the pearl has this shimmer in it that, oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so now we're just going to let this dry. It's only going to take a few minutes to let it dry. And here's, you can also dab up if you have excess ink that you don't want. You want to remove some. You can see how it took that right off so that it tones it down just a hair. I'm just looking to make sure it's not like a star shape whenever I go to put that on my tag. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, we're just going to let that dry. Okay, so our next step is to use the microglaze. It seals the foil to protect it, especially since the aluminum foil can be a bit delicate. So I use the microglaze to seal it, but you can use any kind of sealer that you need to. But this one is like a waxy sealant that helps give the foil a little more durability. You just need a very small amount of this. So I am going to actually start a new one here. I'm just going to run my finger into it. I don't normally, I usually set it off to the side, but this time I'm just going to run it around my felt like this, small amount. You don't need very much at all, like that. So, okay. Now, make sure to rub it gently so that you don't break it. That way you also don't disturb the colors any by rubbing it very slowly around it. I'm just pressing very lightly. I'm not pushing very hard at all. But you want to cover the entire surface and make sure that everything is, and it's okay if it gets on your felt pad too, that some of the colors might lift up a little bit, but it should be fine. Okay, so after my first pass, then the next time I push a little bit deeper because I do have wrinkles. If this was completely smooth, then you would know that it's sealed after the first pass. But yeah, I want to make sure that I get it completely on here. Okay, so I'm doing it a little bit harder the second time. Okay, so I think that's good. Okay, so that really keeps the inks in place. So especially if you want to use this later, now it's a really good way to just go and store it right now. It's all done. But I'm going to take my paper towel and buff it out. So I'm just going to gently go over top of it like this and gently buff the glaze back off of it. So you can see some of the ink pulled up, but not very much, not much at all. So just picking up some of where it blended, the glaze blended with the alcohol inks. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? That's okay. So now that that's sealed, let me go ahead and show you how we're going to attach it to our card. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick a spot because this is a tag and I'm going to seal it up. It doesn't need to be glued onto the foil doesn't need to be glued here. Okay. But you could do that if you're going to use it like flower petals or you're going to be cutting it off of the thing, you need to glue it down. So I'm just going to fold it up like this so that it goes on the back. And let's see how I want to cut my corners off. That's a bit tricky. I want to make sure that I get my corners completely down. I think I can feel them under there. There we go. Like that. I think I've got way too much foil here. Being this close to Christmas, this reminds me of wrapping Christmas presents. So I will be cutting off some of this excess foil on here. I feel like I got way too much foil. Okay. Just like that. And final one. Make sure I got it in place. This will help guide me too as to clearly I have way too much on the sides. So I'm going to cut this back open so I can kind of see where I need to cut. And I'm just going to cut off some of this excess foil. I'm just going to grab some scissors. Doesn't matter which pair, I guess. So I can see where the groove is. So I'm just going to cut some of this foil down. This way I don't have so much to work against me. Okay. And you can save these pieces. See, these are great to be used in your mixed media pieces. Yes, love those. Move them off to the side. All right, now I didn't get a good grasp of where the bottom was on this. Okay. Just going to pull that out that way. And I'm going to go ahead and flip up the... Okay, so I got way too much on the bottom still, so I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that excess off. Just like that. And then still need this piece here, but I think I can add it. Can I add that at the end? Yeah. Yeah, that works. Okay, so I'm going to fold that over at the end. Okay. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, that's so pretty. And then I'm going to back it onto that piece. So let me go ahead and get the glue. I guess you could use double-sided tape here, but I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to make sure that it all stays sealed. Just kind of pushing everything down. So I'm going to get the bigger Fabri-Tac first. Okay, got my bigger Fabri-Tac. So hopefully it's not sealed up here. That one's almost empty, so I didn't want to sit here and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze it. Okay, going right up to the edges. Just like that. And put these two pieces together. Yep. There will be a little bit of an overlap in the back. You can see some of the but it actually kind of is cool because it frames the black back. Okay, I got glue all over that, so let me mush that down like that. Try to get some of this glue off. There we go. Okay. All right, now that that's on, let me grab some decorating pieces real quick. Okay, so I just grabbed a couple of pieces of things here. We're going to put one of these tag things down. Try to get it in the middle. There, still off. Let me try it again. There we go. Okay, close enough. Close enough, close enough. Okay, I'm just going to punch a hole like that. Add one to the back. Like that. And then I'm going to add just some leftover string thingies I got here. Let's add it back to front. Okay. Sorry it took so long. I don't know. Fluffy fingers, I guess. There we go. I'll cut a bit off here. It's a little too tall. There we go. So now I'll show you some examples. So here we go. Here I use the alcohol ink foil as a background on this flip out card for my journal page. It really adds some depth and a pop of color without being too overpowering. I love the metallic shine that this gives. Don't you just love that? And see, it just flips out. So I can put a pocket writing spot right here. I still have this whole page to decorate. But this I used embossing folder. You can see kind of the design in it. So I used the embossing folder so I didn't crumple it. And I just glued it onto a piece of cardstock like I showed you before. And run it through my machine and yeah, come out beautiful. This time I used greens because I wanted it to highlight in this journal. Okay, so our next one, let me put that off to the side. So our next one, I used diamond accents. So I used this one as had that in there. I used this one as a kind of just some decorating some areas. I used pinks, as you can see, and white. I actually used white, a pop of white in here. And I also used some lift ink so that it lifted off of some of the metal, so some of the metal pieces shone through a little bit around this. This one has also been embossed, two different types of embossing folders. This one was a font and this one was flowers. And I just cut them out into squares and glued them down. This piece will glue like this, so you can kind of see. And you have all this writing space over here on the side, so it doesn't take up a whole lot, but it definitely brightens that page and brightens this journal. So the next one is this bright poppy flower, okay? In the colors, this one I did not. I wrapped it around a piece of cardstock, and then whenever I put it through my embossing folder with the leaves shape cut out, the cardstock came off because I did not glue it down. So if you want these sturdier, let me see, I'll show you. See, I had this cardstock that it was wrapped around. So if you want these to be sturdier, then glue it onto the cardstock first before you run it through your embossing folder. Otherwise, it gives this really lightweight. See, it's kind of delicate because they are bendable. But let me see if I can hold them up this way. You can see that I kind of curled up the edges a little bit. And this is actually a tuck spot. Let me see if I don't really have anything but this leaf. So. This is a tuck spot. So I actually put the flowers down on this cardstock first, the green cardstock. There's got to be something around here I can show you. Here we go. We'll just take this longer piece. So yeah, and then I put a bit of lace right here. So that actually formed this pocket. And then these are very shiny pieces. I did them in a couple different colors. I did these in dark oranges and reds with a little piece of a yellow. And then these ones were just yellow tones with a little pop of orange and then a little sentiment right here. So that's another way that you can use it. Okay, so lastly, let me show you one of my favorite ways is as a pocket, just like this. This one is its full pocket. The other one I glued onto cardstock to make it into a pocket. So this is what we created the tag for today, was for this particular pocket because this is a very purpley journal. So hopefully this will fit. Let me make sure it does. Look at that. So that is going to be the opening of the journal right there. So that's beautiful. The sets the tone and the highlight for the whole journal. So that this will let me use a little bit of more blues. I may go back and add just a bit more purple into that. I don't know. I really like the blue tones mixed in with these gold and blacks. And so you can see on here that I used an embossing folder, but it was not. This was the Tim Holtz one with the metal. I get metal sheet. That's what it looked like. And then I used a lot of blacks, browns, and a touch of green in there to make this look more metal. So I hope that this gave you some ideas on using alcohol inks and aluminum foils in our ABC Techniques journals. So if you guys try this out, I'd love to hear how it goes. I'm always amazed by how many different ways you can use these techniques. So let me get this one out so you can see it. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Have a blessed day. Bye.